So whatever we send from the sublet to the base, we can access that value on the base. So after performing the search operations and everything, I just add the array as a model attribute, and I access that array on that JSP page.
Is there what is the file name that includes all this information? How did you put those in separate files? These are separate files.
Yes,
right?
this is controller class. Obviously, this is a controller class, and that is the page, JSP page. So you can see that on the structure in the beginning. Like this is where we need to.
Is there something like include or something one can trace?
Okay. This is the home controller class where all those and the pages are right here.
So, for example, those two-dimensional variable, one-dimensional array,
yes,
those are included in the
yes, in these classes here.
One of those.
Yes, mostly in the home controller class, and that's where we send those information to this page, and that's why we structure it in this fashion so that it knows where to look for.
And when you define it in the controller class, did you add like a command line or something
yes.
explaining what it is?
Yes, yes.
Because
mostly,
it's very important what data structures refer to what. How do you?
Yes, mostly name will define it itself. If you look at the name, like nucleotide, and maybe this is not very good name, but this is obviously results from the search,
right.
So we can still make up. But this results consist of all three informations, except not.
For example, what the dimensions refer to? The first dimension, I suppose, is the RNA number.
RNA name. RNA nucleotide, and the structure. It's like that. But I had to separate it in this page because it was too complicated to manipulate that array, because it was two-dimensional array. I had to include it inside another array. So okay. So let's move on, and the next part is on the Varna. There are some of the JavaScript that is actually given by the the code writer of Varna himself, and whoever designed Varna, they have some default JavaScript functions, but you can also create your own function because source is available. So you can go look inside Varna and make some script to make some changes inside. I actually made one, but this and this one both are default ones. So this one just sets RNA, so it will change the structure of the RNA that is being displayed on the applet by passing two values. One is sequence and another is structure. So it will take three parameters: applet ID, sequence, and the structure. So if you remember earlier, we had an applet tag here. So this applet tag has an ID, VA, and then Varna.class. That's different. So I'm using this ID to pass those. I'm calling the script and passing those parameters to this particular applet using this ID, because that's the identifier for this applet. Okay, so you can see it here. Maybe not here because this is just the structure of the function. I'm calling the function down below. I will get to it in a second. So let me explain how this function works. So first, it creates two variables here, but it gets the ID of the applet from here, right? And then in the script, it creates a script, because this is actually what is going to make the changes later inside Varna. Okay, so it creates a script, set title, because that is the function inside the Varna application itself. So it will run that script, because applet.run script will run the script inside the application. So if you go and look on the source of the application, you will find this function inside there. So you can make changes inside this function that will eventually make the change. Like if you want to set, if you want to add more functionalities to a particular function existing there, like they never had a function to highlight like this automatically. They had only highlight function, but it wouldn't work like dynamically, it will static like.
He's gonna take it.
Thank you
Um,
very much for helping us.
So here also, since I'm getting all this information sequence and structure in a same string, but I'm divided that string with a hash, so I'm splitting the string, just a string manipulation here a little bit, and then I split it and get the sequence and structure, and again create a script using those values, and then pass it to the applet. Applet is the applet of the applet ID, and then run the script. Okay. So this is just an example. There are a couple of other functions if you want to go and look into the code. Okay, so this is how we call those functions. Like one of the functions here is set selection. So we call the function and first give the applet ID and the starting point, ending point, and selection. So it will just highlight. So this is actually 4 buttons in our application. So if you click on the highlight, it is always going to highlight these things, right? So if you want to make dynamic, you have to pass a variable here instead of the hard-coded value. And these things, it changes the views, different views, because okay. Now you can see those buttons here down here, highlight all this, and that's the list of the RNA, that is the output of the results. And once you click on them, it changes into different RNA, and the RNA name is displaying it. So all this function is being handled by the JavaScript, because this has to be dynamic code. So it doesn't communicate with server. That's what I meant. We send the whole results, and then once the result is sent to this application, this applet can work by itself without communicating with the server using JavaScripts and JSP. So this was our design and development phase. Class diagram. I've explained this, and so I'm just
The applet, the Warner applet runs on the client, right?
Yes,
Does the client need to do some security?
yes. They have to do the same security as Varna. I mean, we have to prepare documents for that.
Right.
Yeah, they have to add our sites to a security exception list, or they have to download our, we have a certificate now, since we are using SSL for, yeah, they can download our certificate, and if they add it to a trusted certificate, then they can run our applications.
So we need to provide some information
Yes,
to the
yes.
user.
So we definitely need a how-to page in our application.
Right.
So
So frequently asked
but
questions.
first I am waiting to go it online so that
Right.
we can see what we need. Okay, it is just a class diagram. So we have so many classes.